Hello and welcome to another edition of Runeterra Ravens tournaments, presenting this week the 2v2 tournament. So 6 teams are so far signed up for the tournament, and I think that we're going on with the 2 teams, 6 teams. And we get into the first games, champion selection and banning. So as we see here, on the blue side, it is Ferbs and Paraika against the Postman and Darmadesh. So it's really the battle of the sexes here. We see an Annie and a Chana ban out very early, as Annie provides a lot of engage and Chana provides a lot of disengage. So they just want to ban out all kinds of champions that they can go on with, that they feel would bring the enemy team the edge over this game. But interesting enough, we still don't see a Morgana ban, which is a Paraika's faith pick to pick. And there we go, as Morgana is the last ban. And we get into the first picking for the blue team. And it is a Jinx, actually. Very interesting pick to see, as Jinx has some of that early game damage, but she is not the best one to go for that early game, as these games will should be going over 10 minutes or so. So as the rules are on this 2v2 tournament, the first team to push down a turret, get 100 CS, or get 2 kills will win the game. And we see a Severe and a Lux pick for the red team. So a lot of poke and lots of poke coming up from the red team with that Lux Pointing and the Severe Boomerang Blade. But they do want to get those AD carries to help them farm those minions. I would only assume that the red team is going for some kind of damage, so they'll want to, I think they'll want to take the win here by getting those 2 kills. And there's a powerful support pick, one of my least favorable support pick. I absolutely hate Karma on lane. But we see Jinx and Karma against the Severe and a Lux. And both members of the blue team are running that heal flash, as in on the red team, Severe is running a barrier with the heal on Lux. So wanna protect themselves from that damage. And of course there's 3-minute delay, as I feel it's kind of pointless in this, because I feel the game is gonna be over by the time that we get in. But we're still gonna do, well, I am going to be doing a great job, as certain someone, I'm not gonna mention any names, is once again too busy running away from his duties that he has signed up for. But nothing much else to go on, as we just wait for us, me and the viewers, to get into the first game. And Jinx actually brings a lot of varieties with that switcheroo, having that rocket launcher or that minigun using to farm, and the rocket launcher to use to harass against that Severe Lux. And Karma is also working out pretty nicely on that. She provides a lot of safety for Jinx with that shield and that speed up, but also does a lot of damage actually with that kill. So it's interesting to see if Karma will most likely go flat out AP as Blue Lux. Both teams want to maximize their early game damage output. As I said, the game will not probably be going over any 6-7 minutes, so these are gonna be very short games. Only a minute and 10 to go. And after that we're on to the first game shortly. As I'm gonna advertise a little bit. I would only assume that is my link name, else I'm giving some lucky streamer some viewers. But hopefully it will be me. And actually the level 6 is gonna be very strong for the red team. Because they'll have the power of the Lux combo if she manages to get that bind in. Most likely be on a Jinx. They can lock down so much damage without losing Singularity and the Final Spark and the Boomerang Blade. So they're going for that damage win here. But now we're getting into the first loading screen of the first game. And we'll see who's the winner of the skin war. And we see that it is the blue team that is victorious here with Order of the Lotus Karma skin. Nothing actually doesn't look that special. So, as it was with the team comps, or the teams, the lower eloed players had the opportunity to select their teammates. So as if with Paraga she chose Ferbs, and with Darmageddon she chose Postman. And we're now into the first game. And we see a very early damage coming out with those double Dorans. And then a triple Doran's ring for Karma, but then Lux going for a different route, going for the Blasting Wand and those 2 mana regeneration items. So definitely wanna max out that early game damage. And the red team is the first one to get into that first push. The blue team gotta be very careful about not stepping into that one, as it is only severe at the moment, but that Boomerang Blade does some nice damage even in the early game. And here we go. And here you see the first bunny coming from Lux actually hits on Karma, takes some nice bit of damage, but Shield coming out a little bit too late. And both teams just wanna go to the farming. Actually the blue teams wanna go for the farming, as red team is most likely wanna take that early kill win. So as I assume, it is the combined CS of the 2 laners against each others. Okay, Karma taking some bit of damage, but she shields it up very nicely. But there's the trading damage from Jinx's rockets, and Lux tries to lash out some damage with the Singularity, but it only does so much, as Karma is pretty tanky. For some reason you would not expect that, but she is. So we see Jinx actually getting a 7 CS lead over. It is 15 CS to 7 at the moment. So the blue team wanna keep up the face and not going to get killed. Jinx actually gets binded by the binding, takes some bit of damage, but the Karma Shield keeps her alive. Seaver is now chasing, and Jinx is over half of her health, but she does have those health pots to run off with. And Seaver also taking, and actually let's ignore that, as Jinx again takes either binding, but they go for the Seaver actually choosing not to go as Severe is pretty close to that turret. Let's move that a little bit further away. And that spell sheet working wonders for Severe, blocking most of those abilities coming up from the Jinx. What? Something. The W of Jinx. Sap. That's what it is. So 24 to 17. At the moment, blue team is wanting to keep up this phase. Not wanna be a little bit careful, as Severe almost eats those jumpers on the ground. Not wanna get stunned there. Karma helping Jinx farm up pretty nicely. She farms pretty well actually. Early game, and it's over 10 CS over. And Karma eats another binding. There's a lot of damage actually. There's the heal popped up by the Karma, and Jinx is wanting to trade some damage with those rocket launcher and takes Severe to quarter of her health, and Severe does not have any more health pots to go on, and Jinx still has one. So 36, that's third of the CS that they would need. Also the turret has taken almost a fifth of its health. Jinx just takes that health rate away. And Karma goes in, and actually there's a connection, but not enough damage. Actually, Lux popping that heal to keep Severe alive from that damage. And Jinx should have a pretty good moment here, as she is full health due to Severe, who has only a quarter of her health. Jinx eats another binding, but there's the sap and the spell shield coming up from Severe, blocking that damage and keeping her alive. The red team does not want to postpone it too much, as the turret is taking some nice bit of damage. Karma keeps trying to harass with that poke. And also helping Jinx to farm. And Severe is not in a good place. She takes a lot of damage from the Jinx, and now the blue team gets some nice damage to the turret. The turret is over half of its health gone. There's the final spark actually getting off the first blood. And there it is, the level 6s coming up from the red team. Now the red team only needs one more kill to finish up this game. Lux is kind of low on mana, only enough for one binding. And there it is, and it goes wide. Jinx popped that last health pot, and actually she wanted to go in on Severe. She tries to. You will not damage. She wants to get in range, but she can't. She should just switch over to the miniguns and do damage to Lux instead, trying to get Severe. But chooses not to. Actually backs away, waits for his Karma to get back on the lane. 47 CS to 36. Blue team has a lead, but they have to be very careful about giving up one more kill. If they do, that's game over. Game over, man, for the blue team. And you do not want to start the tournament with a loss. And Lux actually takes a lot of damage. There's a Super Mega Death Rocket. Actually, Lux just sidesteps it. And Karma helping Jinx farm up pretty nicely. She picks up all of those minions. Yes, she does. And Severe has actually regenerated her half back away, but eats a sap and takes a lot of damage, and there she goes again on a low health. It's actually a kill from Karma, and almost a rocket is enough, but there should be one more rocket to finish up the job. Now Severe has to be very careful about giving out the kill. She's very low, but she does have that barrier up. Lux doesn't have heal up. At the moment there's a spell shield. The ability doesn't actually hit, and now the blue team is pushing. They might actually win it here. There's a final spark doing some nice damage, and there's barrier, and they protect the turret for now. But turret is only 3 more basic attacks away from Jinx. There's the Severe ultimate on the hunt, popped up for that movement speed, and Severe wanted to sidestep those. Karma almost eats a light binding from Lux, but managed to sidestep it. Severe has to be very careful about those sap coming out. there goes one. She sidesteps the Pinyin again. Not wanting to go near the turret. Oh, and Severe actually takes a lot of damage. There's the Super Mega Day Rocket. He flashes back, but it still hits him. It's 1-1, and it looks like the blue team is going to win this one. I don't see it. They're coming back from his rocks, having to flash away from the sap of Jinx. And the blue team is now pushing up the turret. It's 76 minions, but they should just finish up this turret. There you go. The first turret, and the blue team picks up the kill. Just finished it up with a kill. So the blue team picking up the kill. So very well played on their behalf. And because of these games being very short, I'm gonna keep 3 games on one recording. And we get straight into game 2. We follow the Postman and the Dharma route to see if they can pick up or even up those wins. They're currently one lose on the board after the first games. Do not know actually what happened with Halves and Inet's game, but I'm sure we'll get some results after the tournament is over. Okay. So we see the bans picked up as we see the Jinx and the Morgana actually banned out against the Half and Ina. So the red team does not want to deal with that Jinx as it proved to be too much of a trouble. In the meantime, we see the blue team has banned out Nami, Graves and Leona. 2 very engaged supports and 1 very strong AD carry. And the final ban for the red team is gonna be Jarvan. And interesting to see it's Caitlyn pick out. That's very strong early game AD carry to come out from the blue team, as she provides a lot of poke and the range, keeping her safe to farm up those minions. And that's also interesting to see if she'll run with that ignite going on to this game. They wanna most likely wanna go to that kill win. And we see a Lucian hover over. And the Karma, it's locked in. They learned something from that last thing. Karma was not too much of a trouble, but they still felt that it was too much for them. So they're just gonna pick it up themselves. And Lucian and a Karma. I could make so many bad jokes about that, but I won't because I'm better than that. And it's interesting to see what the Caitlyn's lane's partner support will be for this game, or will be a support at all. It could be anything. It might be a Blitzcrank. Well, not likely a Blitzcrank going on with that Caitlyn. But it is, and actually, it's happened. It has happened. They're gone with the Blitzcrank, with the Caitlyn, so they're definitely going for that kill win. And the blue team is going to want to go for, well, actually they can go both ways. Actually, they want to either go for that kill win or the CS win, because Lucian does farm pretty nicely with a passive, and as we saw on the last game, that Karma can either help his laner farm or either provide some kind of harassment. But that Blitzcrank, man, they definitely wanna go for the kill win with the ignite and the Blitzcrank, so it's gonna be very hard to land that hook onto Lucian with the dash. But if there's any man to do it, Half is not the man to do it. But instead, he could go for the Karma actually, as she's, well, again, she does also have that movement speed rush. but it has to be very nice reactions coming up from the postman to keep him alive from that hook. And they can, blue team can actually stack up the CC pretty nicely if Blue manages to get a pool. Caitlyn just puts a trap on there where the pool started. Blitzcrank will knock up, and that gives the trap time to activate. But then that's easy to flash away from, so that will be at least a flash burn if he manages to get a pull. On the very least. So let's see. So we're on round 2. And I think we'll go with Simeon Macros. Yes. Oh, actually, let them know. There we go. So when we get into the round 3, we have speculated every team. So we have some kind of knowledge on what to do. 25 seconds to go. As we shortly and patiently wait for the game to go into the loading screen. And there we go. Into the loading screen we go. And the blue team once again wins the skin war with that eye Blitzcrank. Must have been very expensive skin, as it is part of that eye family. And there we go. Into the game we go. And we see the Gateway going for the Doran's Blade start, but then the Lucian's going for a pickaxe, actually. And Blitzcrank going for the Catalyst of the Protector, and Karma choosing to go the double Doran's Ring.
Welcome to the Howling Abyss.
But we see Blitzcrank has made his way into the bush. Karma has to be very careful about not going too close at the end of that bush, because Blitz is gonna get that hook, and if it's gonna be this early, it has to be a flash burn. And then we see the trap actually coming up. Have wanted to maneuver himself over that trap.
Minions have spawned.
Yes, I am half. Because some people cannot complete their duties. But never mind that, because we are into the laning phase. And we see Lucian getting some early lead. Well, 2 CS lead. And, oh, Caitlyn actually missing a CS. That's not, don't really wanna miss your CSs. And there's the first pull coming up from Blitzcrank. It's a minion. Unfortunately, not quite the target that they're looking for. But Caitlyn has to keep up that farm. Get some help thanks to that passive headshot. And another minion actually missed. So the blue team definitely wanna go for that as the pull comes, but Lucian just dashes away from it. So 7 CS to 11 at the moment, as we are through with the first of the minion waves. And another hook that was actually... That was... I'll call that a next level hook. Because it was so out of the ways of the red team being. So might have been just predicting a pull. And another pull actually this time is gone much closer. But usually not even bothering to dash away, it is quite out of range. But Karma actually has a nice AP, 68 AP to go. It's farming pretty nicely. And poking at the same time, so doing some well jobs. 19 to 24, so pretty even still. Only a slight lead for the red team. And Half once again tries to get a pull. But that's so close to the minion wave, it actually hits a minion. But Caitlyn tries to do some damage with the build of a Peacemaker. So it's interesting to see. Half goes for another pull, tries to predict the movement. But it goes wild again. So far not hitting a single pull on that Blitzcrank. And another CS miss. You really can't afford those missing minions. Especially when you're in the game where you could win by CSing. Oh, and another CS is not good. Because every minion matters. As Caitlyn is 8 CS behind of Lucian at the moment. So 40 CS to 31, and there's the first pull actually coming up, hitting onto Karma. There's the Ignite, and there comes the actually hits! The ultimate from Caitlyn actually hit us and gets the first blood. Some nice movement coming up. And Karma actually choosing to flash way too late actually. Not right before the knockup came. But after the way too late. So this is just for the blue team. Blitz goes in, gets a knockup, has to flash away, and sidesteps the pull coming up from Blitzcrank. Lucian tries to farm under the turret siege, and does so with pretty ease. Karma actually gone for the chalice actually, very interesting to pick up to see. See what she'll be able to do with that pickup. And Blitzcrank is staying in the bush, he wants that Lucian. Lucian is pretty low, he's only got half of his health, but he doesn't have a help out running, and that's the last one. There's a pull coming up, and it goes a little bit too wide for the Lucian to even dash out. But the Kettle is working wonders for Blitzcrank, as every time he levels up, he'll get that health and that mana back. Thanks to it. Blitzcrank moves in, there's the ultimate and the knockup. They want to dance around. Karma dances around pretty nicely. And there's the calling coming from Lucian. Does some nice damage to Blitzcrank, but there's the heroic, so he's just gonna take that and be okay. 58 CS to 49. So 10 CS difference, so Blitzcrank moves into another bush. Wants to get that pull in. And misses completely. And there's the ace in the hole coming up, but this time it's blocked by Lucian. There's actually Blitzcrank takes some bit of damage from the Karma ultimate. And a little bit back to CSing. Blitzcrank once again moves in, but that's too late, the pull was coming up. That's not gonna hit the Lucian, who actually dashes away. So no summoners except for the Clarity up for Karma. And Ignite almost run its course, almost back up on Blitzcrank. Once they get the pull, that's the time. They wanna get that second kill. There's another pull. This time it lands onto Karma. They wanna shoot some nice damage. It's only half of her gone. But Caitlyn stands in that zone of Karma, so takes a lot of damage from it. And actually now Caitlyn's half of her health is now gone. Lucian takes that health break away. There's the dash coming out from Lucian and dodging out the Blitzcrank pull. So 76 to 68. Blitzcrank moves in once gets going, and this time the pull goes too wide. And actually, Caitlyn's with the 2 front. He has to use the caliber net to get away, but there's a Karma damage coming out. He has to use the barrier, and there's a knockup from Blitzcrank to keep him away. But now Blitzcrank takes a winner, but Karma gets pulled under the turret. There's an ace in the hole coming out, and that's second kill for the blue team. They turn it around, and that's a win for the blue team. And they still want to go on. They want to get that, and actually now manages to take down Lucian. But there we go. Lucian should pick up that double kill, but she's actually low health. There we go. But it is still too late as it is. It should be over. I mean, 2 kills, that's it. Why are they still going? I don't know.
Executed.
Why are they? Okay, this is why. Why? Because it was on 2 kills, so we need to get some words about the rules, but it was only 2 kills. Well, for some reason they're going on with it. So okay, so let's keep going for a while. The red team is at 92 minions. But Blitzcrank moves in, get the knock up, but Karma shoots up and does a lot of damage. And actually Lucian is in an awkward place, he's in the bush. There's the Riser's Glorious, there's the knock up, and Lucian has to flash away. The pull is not enough, but the ace in the hole does a lot of damage to Karma. And 98, they only need 2 more minions to get to 100 CS. But this should be the blue team's game. They got to 2 kills first. I don't know why. Yeah, there's 100 CS, but there's a GG's coming, but okay, I don't know what happened there. We need to get, because I'm pretty sure it is only 2 kills. No, get 5 kills, okay. So I'm mistaken there, it's 5 kills, so it is the red team that manages to get that win. And these guys should have invited me, but they have not. So bad. But we see round 3. So Cassiopeia and a Teemo, actually lots of poison damage coming up from the blue team. But then we see Jinx and Janna. So there's a disengage with the Janna. Cassiopeia and Teemo combined, they do a lot of damage actually early on with the blind in with the blind of Teemo and twin bites of Cassio. And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do every game on this single recording, so I'll have less to upload. But this is round 3 game, so there's only 2 more rounds to go after this one. Yep. So interestingly enough, we see that Timo has picked up an exhaust against Janna and Jinx lane. So they're gonna want to get into a fight and then make Jinx's damage go low. Very low. Like, I believe it's like 90%. No, it's 40% actually. Okay. That's a little bit less OP. But it's still pretty nice. So Cassiopeia going with a Guardi actually a very wise choice, as she uses a lot of mana, especially early on against this lane. So I wouldn't be shocked if Cassio goes for some kind of mana regeneration item first. Maybe a tier. But that's gonna take a lot of time, so it'll most likely be a chalice. But tier is not the worst case. And this time the skin war is actually pretty closer. But the blue team again brings up the victory on the skin wars. With the Cottontail Teemo and the Mythic Cassiopeia to the forecast channel. And there we see the tier of the guy is picked up by Cassiopeia, while Teemo takes that Blasting Wand. Meanwhile, Jinx has gone for the usual double Doran's Blade, and Janna for that Chalice. It provides that mana regeneration and the magic resist against this very AP Poke team. The both teams stay in the inside of their bush. There's the tornado coming up, it's interesting to see. Whoa! That went wide. Actually, can I manage to do this whole game without... Okay, this is a little bit better. Whoa. Okay, this is gonna be new for me. So we see the minion white gets stuck in the middle. So they freeze it, so... But there's the bulk of Cassiopeia coming up with the team Twin Bites. Actually takes a lot of damage on the Janna. Tries to get that poison on the ground. And there's also the blind coming up from Teemo. Let's see. Actually, I'm just gonna let the direct camera do its work. Because that's what I'm paying it for. So the red team is having to pop those health pots very early on. Teemo actually takes a turret shot and a zap to the face. And quite of his health, but he has those health pots to go. Meanwhile, Jinx steps on the poison, but no Twin Bites coming up from Cassio yet. And we see the CS is at the moment is even, or 11 CS to 11 CS. And Janna, she will not get damage from the Twin Bites. But meanwhile, Teemo is in a lot of trouble. He's taking a lot of damage. Has to burn those health pots very early on. But there's the damage coming out from the red team. It's too much for the blue team. They have to run away. Teemo has to run away. Manages to get over the jumpers, but that's first blood for the red team. So as a confirmation, it is 5 kills that you need to get. So I was mistaken on that one, I'll happily admit. that I was mistaken. The Godcaster has to get something wrong, so it's happy to be something as little as a winning situation. And there's the Heifer exploding, but the red team is there to pick up for some nice mana for Jinx. And meanwhile, starving Teemo from that hell, and another stab right into the face. Just gets slapped to the face of the damage. But the blue team is still managing to keep up with the CS. Might have been something to do with the fact they have 2 champions going for those CS. So they're actually ahead with 24 CS to 19. But nothing too much. So we can say that the CS is pretty even for both of the both teams. Then we see Teemo once again takes a lot of damage from the rockets, almost 100 health. And there's the stab! Goes right across the face. Cassio barely manages to go walk over the jumpers, but she should take a lot of damage as well from the rocket launchers. There is a double kill for Jinx, and that's 3 kills. And this will give the red team some freedom to farm up those minions. I want to make sure they're not gonna miss a single CS, as yeah, this is not something that you like to see. That's a very unsportsmanship in my mind to go execute yourself in that kind of fashion. But you gotta do what you gotta do in order to win. You leave channel to farm out those minions. And Jinx goes back to base and gets a PF sword for the damage. And Cassio has picked up the Venus Codex, as Teemo has gone for the Sorcerer's Shoes. I'm actually going for a very early Void Staff, so definitely want to max out that early damage. But it still doesn't do a whole lot of damage yet. So the CS being 37 to 37, so the CS is again dead even, and Teemo hits another jump, but this time there's a super death rocket, but the Cassio, the petrifying gaze, actually keeps Teemo alive from the last basic attack coming up. And there's another stab, this time hitting on Cassio, and Cassio's in trouble. But Jinx doesn't get in range for that rocket. The blue team wants to do everything. There's a shrooming starting from Teemo. But Janna just shields it, and a little bit too late as they have a response. But that's still enough pressure to force the blue team away from that health relic. And another stab, this time going pretty close. Actually, Teemo gets knocked out by the tornado. There's the jumpers behind it. Teemo's nowhere to run except into the bush, but that only delays him. There's the exhaust coming out, and that's a 4th kill. One more. If they manage to get the kill on the Cassio, that is game over for the blue team, as they will go home. Well, they are already at home, but they will stay home with a little bit more saddening on their faces. And there they go, they want to take a kill. There's Tornado knocking up and actually misses the sap because of it. Jinx has to use that barrier, but that's still a lot of damage on the Karma. And actually Cassio manages to get the kill because Jinx didn't switch over to that minigun damage, and he would have gotten the attack speed buff from it, so that would have been enough to finish off Cassio. But instead, choosing to stick with those rockets might have been a game changer. The blue team is at 58 CS to the blue team's 53. And Janna keeping the turret pretty much alive, but Cassio gets knocked up by another tornado. It's a sap to the face. There's a super mega there again, and that's enough. That's game over. That's 5 kills. Now this time, even I know that's game over. And the blue team, red team, picks up that kill with the super mega death rocket with style. So now next we'll get into the round 4 game, and it's interesting to see which game it will be. B. And let's see. We did dormant and yeah. Yes. And actually this actually no, the teams were okay. And this is round 4 game. So after this one there's only one more round to go. And the red team is looking to make sure that the last game does not happen again. They wanna have at least one win. I'm not sure if they already have a one win, but they wanna get one win when I'm watching them. That's what matters for every single teams playing in this tournament. They wanna get my approval because I'm the caster of everything that I do, I touch. So we see the Morgana and a Cassiopeia so far for the blue team, and a K2 Janna coming up from the red team. They realized that the Janna was too much of a trouble for them with the shield and the knock-up, keeping her alive, and the last balance Karma and Annie. There's the Heimerdinger getting locked in, and then the red team responds with a double AP once again with Malzahar and Lux. And is this gonna be Gambler locking? Yes, that would be. Actually, it would be very effective with that orange, keeping him alive from the CC, but it's only one CC that it cancels. But if they manage to get into a fight with the Heimerdinger, you can use that ultimate turret, and that deals a lot of damage overall. So that would be that basically counts as a disengage, and they switch over to Lucian. And once again to Vayne, last minute. And I'm not sure actually if Vayne is any better. Because at least Vayne does have a tumble to get away from harm's way. But Vayne is not exactly known for her early game damage. So I'll only assume that they wanna get that knockback against the wall to get a stun, and then Heimer to continue with the CC of the grenade. Then again, it's a little bit different on the side of red team, as they have that double AP again with the exhaust for Lux. But Malzahar has one of the best ways to farm with that space aids. Going over the enemy minions, killing them, and then switching over to another one. It's like a deadly 8 in space. And we see the Vayne has gone off for the cleanse because as Vayne is pretty vulnerable to any kind of CC. But again, that's only one CC that it will cancel, and that is a long cooldown. Actually, can we see the cooldown? No, we can't. Okay, we didn't even want to hear the cooldowns, but it is the levels of a flash. So Vayne has to be very careful about what she is going to cleanse, because after she does, that gives the red team opening to go in on the next engage within the 5 minute time limit to go in once again. So 1 minute to go until another champion on screen, and this is part where it's the most important. It is the skin war. And if it will be a tie, a draw against these two teams on the skin war, I would have to give it over to the blue team, as Vayne and Heimerdinger have nicer skins than Malzahar or Lux. But it's interesting to see what they'll have. Will they have something that will blow my mind? I doubt it. Can they try? Sure. Will it be enough? Most likely not. So 10 seconds to go on to round 4. And actually, no, we have speculated all the teams, I think. At least I should have, because else that would just make me look bad. But we see no skins on the side of blue team, and this time it is the red team that picks up the win on the skin war with the Steel Legion Lux. That looks very dull. But never mind that, because we're into round 4 of game something. Game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe, if I can do math, which I can't, so I doubt it. So on the side of red team, they're both going for those Doran's rings and boot starts, as has Heimerdinger. But Vayne has gone for the pickaxe pickup. Pickaxe pickup. See what they did there? It's pretty clever.
Hitting me is like boxing with shadows.
Okay. Little bit of trash talk coming out. And actually what's interesting to see, if they manage to destroy those turrets, they count up to CS. So they're basically free CS that they're gonna give over to their side of red team, so they have to be very careful about that too. And Heimerdinger poking down with the help of his ability toolkit. Vayne gets hit up by the singularity, but the binding only hitting onto Heimerdinger. So 6 CS to 9 after the first minion wave. So I'm not sure how the blue team is gonna make it. They're working in a slight disadvantage. Slightly, because of those Heimerdinger turrets. And Vayne not being the best of early games. But again, those are only my opinion, and those are main reason why I'm still in gold. But those also are the main reason that I got into gold. So actually commented something about the game. Well, the red team is farming out those minions and those Heimerdinger turrets. So 21 CS to 13. And it's just to see Vayne actually tumbles right into a binding. It's a singularity, and that's almost half of Vayne's health, but she has those health pots to run down with. Malzahar goes in, gets a space head onto Vayne, and also it's a singularity coming up, so that's half of her health. The binding goes a little bit too wide. But the red team is keeping on wanting to harass with the abilities on the Vayne. So 17 to 28. At least 4 of those CSs for the red team being those Heimerdinger turrets. And the space heads coming up once again takes up almost a quarter of Heimerdinger's health. Rocks eats those micro rockets to the face, but not a whole lot of damage. And Vayne again stumbles tiny but still gets blinded. Takes some bit of damage, but the Helveric is keeping him alive. But Vayne is down to the last health pot. Well, the red team still has 6 combined. So they'll have Lux on the lane to farm up minions, and then Malzahar in the bush to make sure that blue team can't get in range for those minions. So they'll have to farm under turret, but Vayne can do it pretty good. But there's like the circles of doom on the ground from the red team, the Malzahar pool, and the Lux's singularity. They're so good at making the enemy team go around them. And there's a space Ace doing its work. Lux hits the singularity, the binding not almost hitting. So 40 CS to 29. Actually what? It's 50 CS. But the blue team is having control over those Helverics. There's the Silence Field and the Space Age on the Vayne, but Vayne is still gonna... Oh, she's half of her health left. And without Doran, she doesn't have any income of extra health except for those Helveric, which is using on the best case. And Lux actually missing both Singularity and the Binding. There's the ultimate from Heimerdinger using on the rocket. Malzahar having to flash away, but there's the ultimate from Vayne coming out, and also Lux having to flash away. So a lot of damage from those ultimate rockets coming up from Heimerdinger, having to make Malzahar use his ulti on Heimerdinger, and then having to flash away. There's the Binding, actually hits both members. But Lux can't close out on the Singularity. Ooh, that would have been actually very close if she was able to get that Singularity down on the ground. Another light binding splits the ocean. So 67 to 44. So that's a big minion wave lead for the red team. I think they'll just farm up to the victory. Actually can afford to miss some CS. Malzahar actually gets locked up by the CC of Heimerdinger and needs the rockets, but that's still only half of his health. And now the red team has popped up all of their health pots. And Lux using those abilities to farm up those Heimerdinger turrets. 74 to 51. That's 23 minions. And Malzahar gets the Space Age onto Vayne, who's still having to keep a little bit of her distance. There's the Binding, but the tumble keeps the Doctor away. There's still... Blue team is farming pretty nicely, and Vayne still not having to use any of those cleanses for the time being. Now 85 CS, last 15 to go for the red team. The blue team is having to make their move, else they'll just lose the game. There's the final spark, hitting on the Heimerdinger, and the Singularity just goes a little bit too wide. But also, well, the blue team can farm up on that Voidling, but he can't spawn those very much. So it's not a whole lot of dissing. And Vayne tumbles in, gets it knocked back onto Malzahar, but Heimerdinger can't follow it up with any damage. Now 92 minutes, 8 CS to go, and the red team will pick up their victory. There's a Singularity, gets a first blood on the vein. And now the red team should just farm those minions for victory. 99 minions to go, they only need one more, and there's the Hammerdinger turret. They get that one, that's game over, that's game over. The red team picks up the win. So now, next, we're on to round 5. And I think, yeah. No wait, we can't spectate that one yet. No, okay. So a little bit pause. Actually, second. Oh, Zed and Avalon, I totally missed out them. They're the team that I have not spectated at all. I have spectated everyone else. Well, also Perkov and Diffido. Wow, I've been missing some lots and lots. And everyone still in the champion selection now have. Yeah, I think we'll just spectate this one. And again with SEMO macros, go for those double AP. They do love to run it. They were successful the last time. But will they be successful again with the Malzahar and the Morgana? They just wanna lay down the circles on the ground. But this time, the red team also has gone for double AP with the Syra brand. So that's a lot of CC coming up from the red team. Actually, there's lots of CC on both sides actually. I think both teams are wanting to go for that fighting. To see if they can get any kills. So it's interesting to see that the both teams are going for the same strategy. To see which team will rise victorious. So there was a total, if I'm just gonna count very quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and but there was 15 games. But because of unlimited resources, I'm only able to cast on 5 games. So apologies to Perklov and Diffido and Sid and Avala. I was not able to cast your games because you did not invite me to spectate your games, so that's purely on your side to blame on, and not mine. If you still feel that you've been wronged by me, you're welcome to contact my lawyer, whose name I will not give out. You have to figure that one out yourself. And now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're into the champion lawyer screen. And this is the last game, so it's interesting to see who will win the last skin war. And it is a tie actually with Morgana and Syra actually. Now I have to choose which one has a nicer skin. Oh, I don't know. I'm actually gonna call it tie because both skins are not that great. I mean, yeah, they look nice, but they're not great.
Welcome to the Howling Abyss.
Okay, so what age does Syra have? So both, well, almost everyone going for the double Dorans except for Syra going for triple Dorans ring. So a whole lot of magical damage coming up. And there's the Seer hitting onto Morgana. That's the first blood. But yeah, that's the thing, because you can just farm out those plants as well. So yeah, but it's interesting to see if the red team is able to pick up a kill win before anything else happens to happen. And we see actually that Morgana has taken a lot of damage, over half of her health gone, has to use those health pots, almost gets hit by the Seer and the grasping roots. And a lot of harassment coming up onto Morgana. But there's the pull coming from Malzahar, who's actually out of mana, has to use those mana pots. But lots of damage from the red team actually, with Brand having that true damage burn on his passive. Ah! Okay, sorry, I won't touch anything anymore. So Malzahar has sneak up into the bush. He gives Syra the space cancer, and Syra's taking half of her health. There's the silence field coming up. Takes a lot of damage. Has to get away from that. But Morgana gets rooted once again, and she's a little bit over 200 health, while Syra has 400 health. Malzahar once again eats those roots, but Morgana gets stunned up by the CC. There's some black shield coming up, blocking a little bit damage, but it's a little bit too late. And there's actually a clarity for the red team. And Brand eats a Pangin. Malzahar wants to go for the kill. There's the barrier, but it's not enough to protect him from Malzahar's basic attack. That's first blood for the blue team. And now he gives the space age to Syra, and actually Morgana walks right into the roots. The health rate keeping Syra alive, just barely. But 22 CS to 18. Not a big difference, but difference nonetheless. Now Brand has joined the club of triple Dorans on the side of red team. Syra not having any health pots or mana pots available, so she's working with the 3,500 health. Space Sage finally starting to do some bit of damage. A fifth of a health is taken away by that 8. Now Syra has to be very careful, as she is very squishy overall. Not wanting to get locked up by the dark binding. But she drops it down. There's the binding. It actually goes a little bit too wide. But there's the flash ultimate from Malzahar. Is it gonna be enough? It is. They get the kill. There's the knockup from the Syra ultimate. The passive just goes a little bit too wide. But this Brand is not able to get the kill. There's the soul shackles onto Brand, and now Brand's health is, everyone's health is just blinking red. But we see an needlessly large rod coming up, and there's the ultimate from Brand. It actually goes to the minions, but then back. But he walks right into a push. There's Malzahar with the exhaust, and they pick up a second kill. The blue team only needs 2 more kills to pick up that kill. And 44 CS to 39. So the blue team has managed to get over the CS. Morgana sidesteps the root, but not turret damage, as it's only 1 shot. And Brand getting a sorcerer's shoes, actually selling out one of the Dorn's ring for the shoes. So the more really get the magical penetration. Malzahar almost eats the root from Syra, but he just sidesteps it. There's a Dark Binding and the Tormented Soul is coming on the ground to help, trying to see if he can block Syra from taking that health rate, but Syra just waits it out and gets it afterwards. The Morgana gets binded up, Brand misses out the stun, but not the Pillar of Flames. Both teams just raking out those damage. 56 to 53 CS, so a little bit closer now. But I still feel that where this game is gonna end in a kill win for either teams. Odds are saying that it's going to be blue team with those 3 kills already under their belt. But they still have something to work on. Brand farms up those minions. Only a 15 minions. And actually not getting near those health rate. There's actually the ultimate, but the Black Shield should keep it alive as it just bounces around in minions. And actually Brand eats the Binding and the Tormented Soul, and the Space Ace actually has to use the barrier, but meanwhile Syra picks up the kill on the Malzahar. Morgana is a little bit cautious, has to be. There's the roots, actually hit, and there's the ace. They even out the kills, 3 to 3. Now both of the teams only need 2 more kills, and Brand's gonna get executed to go back by some damage. Just a blasting one, and both members of the blue team have gone for the unusual strike and the blasting one, so they wanna get that Rapidaun's death cap. Will it be enough? Not sure. Malzahar farms at those minions, 69 to 70. So very close, only 30 more CS to go for red team, 31 for blue team. And Brand, it's another Dark Body. There's ultimate from Malzahar, even gets melted. 1 more kill and they win the game. Brand actually walking a little bit too close of the blue team, and he just gets locked down by that CC. There's a Space Ace doing a lot of damage. There's a Silence Field. Over half of her health is gone now. If he managed to get 1 more Dark Binding, that would be it. 82 minions to 84? Is it right? Yes, 84. So 60 more CS. Yeah, 87, 89, 90 CS. And 88. Oh, and there's the Binding actually. I'll still focus on the minion wave. There's the team. The blue team has managed to pick up the kill, and they finished up with an ace. So 91 CS more. 9 more CS. Yes. But nonetheless, the blue team manages to pick up the kill. And the victory. So if I'll just get... So we'll get a quick word from the host of the tournament to see an official word on who won it. Because there was still 10 other games that I was not able to spectate. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
User joined your channel.
Alright, there we go. So tell me, who won it?
The winner was Ryan and Macross. with 4-1.
So macros and Yufido?
Asimio. No, Brian. Asimio.
Oh, Asimio. Okay. So the double AP. Double AP means.
Yeah, the double AP is 1.
Alright.
Alright.
Thank you.
No
So-
problem.
So as
User
we
left
heard,
your
there's
channel.
the...
User joined your
Sorry, you were
channel.
still talking. Sorry.
Nah, I was just wrapping up.
Okay.
You can go.
Alright, thanks for casting.
User left your channel.
So yeah, that's the end of another tournament. This time being very short. Well, short, but very well. Lots of action. Again, 10 other games that we totally missed out. 2 teams that I was not able to cast on because of their own fault, because they did not invite me. So thank you for watching, and we'll see. I'll see you next week. As it will be, let me just quickly check what tournament it will be next week. It is a 5v5 tournament next week. So hopefully I'll get someone to cast with me. But under this note, thank you for watching. I'm Crank the Man, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.